Hey, babe. Hey, babe. Hey, babe.
Hey, this is Sal Vulcano and Chris Distefano, and welcome to another episode of
Hey, babe.
So what's up?
Yeah. So, dude, we were talking before. Did I ever tell you this story about when my kid's mom, when her father died? Did I ever tell you that story? It's hilarious.
I feel like it would ring a bell. As of right now, I don't think so.
The thing about Brooklyn, the thing about like growing up in Brooklyn and like having like Brooklyn owned like mafia places, is like, you know, these guys negotiate, they have deals. This is like a real thing that all true what I'm about to say happened.
Yeah, I just watched a Netflix like Fear City or whatever it is.
It's one of the best things I've ever seen in my life.
Isn't it crazy the taps, the wire taps, and all that stuff?
It's fantastic.
Yeah. Okay.
So we go to the funeral. You know, obviously, to the funeral home. My kid's mom was really upset, and father died, tragic, whatever. Horrible. And so she says, "Look, can you talk to this funeral guy?" It was a old school Italian guy's funeral home on 4th Avenue in Brooklyn, in Park Slope.
Sure.
So we sit down. First of all, he offers us like cappuccino, espresso, coffee, decaf, waters,
limoncello,
cannolis, whatever you guys want. He's dressed to the knot. He's got like a $10,000 suit on. He hasn't unbuttoned the top button ever in his life.
Yeah.
He goes,
there's definitely a gold, like
100%.
pinky ring.
Yeah. He goes, so we sit down. And he's we're talking. He goes, "What kind of casket does she want? Let me ask you this. Let me ask you that." And I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Just out of curiosity, because this happened in January or February of 2017. Trump was elected November of 2016." He goes, "Just out of curiosity," he goes, "Let me ask you something." He goes, "The man who passed away on God," and he must have said, "God," he said, "The man who passed away, my respects." He must have said that like 100 times. He was like, "My respects." He goes, "Who did he vote for in the last election?" And we were like, and my kid's mom was like, "I don't see why that's important." He goes, "Well, I'm just saying, who did he vote for? I just, guy's dead, tell me who he voted for." And we were like, "Okay." And then I said, "Should I just tell him, like, whatever?" And she was like, "I guess." And I was like, and at that point, 2 months after, like, you didn't know if you could be open about it yet. I was like, he voted for Trump. And he goes, "That man outside right now voted for Donald Trump." And like, you could see, like, you didn't know like his emotion yet. Like, you could see he was like welling up. And you're like, is this guy mad? Is this guy happy? He goes, "I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do right now." He goes, "First of all, that guy voted for a true American hero." Okay. He goes, and he served in the military. My kid's father served in the military. He's like, "Yeah, he served in the." He goes, "He served in the military." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Okay." He goes, "I'm not supposed to do this unless they pay for it." He goes, "I'm going to get a full American flag ceremony. I'm gonna get the Marines here, and we're gonna play whatever that song is on the way up. We're gonna do that for him."
My grandfather.
Oh, thank you. He goes, "Also, on top of that, what I'm gonna do free of charge." He goes, "If you ask me to give you money, I'm not gonna give you any money." He said, he goes, "If you ask to pay me, I'm not gonna accept your money. It is on the house. I'm gonna put a 'Make America Great Again' wreath in the casket with them." So he can, I swear to God, so he says, so he can enjoy the afterlife with that wreath.
Wow.
And then my kid's mom was like, "I really don't want that in the casket. Like, I'm not,
Well, yeah, even regardless of politics, it's like the casket is sacred.
Yeah.
It should be whatever the family wants.
Yeah, we don't want it. Okay, so we said, "No," and he goes, "I'm so happy he voted for Trump because we had a family in here last night." He goes, "A couple of these
Hey, babe. Hey, babe.
He's saying this like while he's negotiating. Like, my kid's mom is like crying. He's like these liberal fucks. He's like, "Guess what?" He goes, he was like, "I was having a discussion." He goes, "I was having a discussion with this guy." He goes, "I'm having a discussion with this liberal guy." He goes, "Everybody's freaking." He goes, "Last night they were all crying in here because Trump won." I'm like, "No, they're probably all crying because their loved one is dead. They're in the funeral home. Like, what are you talking about?" He's like so out of touch. He's like,
I mean, talk about being first to market with "Make America Great Again" wreaths.
Wreaths, yeah.
Like for the casket.
Yeah,
like that was foresight.
Yeah. No, "Make America Great Again" was his campaign slogan. What do you mean?
But he had wreaths available for burial.
Oh, right. Yeah.
He had the product.
Oh, yes. That's true. Yeah.
That's because maybe I guess people asked for that. I don't know.
They asked for it. But so he says, he goes, I did, these liberals yesterday. He goes, "I'm talking to a guy and I'm telling him, I'm going, look, why don't you come in here tomorrow? I'll make you a deal right now." He says to this guy, he goes, "I'll make you a freaking deal right now. He goes, why don't you come in here tomorrow? He goes, go home, watch the news, whoever you like, freaking Anderson Cooper, whatever. He's just assuming. Yeah. He goes, Anderson Cooper, whoever you like. He goes, why don't you go and give me one thing that Hillary Clinton that's done that's right, and one thing that Donald Trump's done that's wrong. And he goes, real hard factual evidence. He said, if you come in with one thing Hillary did right and one thing Donald Trump did wrong, I'm going to give you this funeral for half price. I swear to God, that's what he's telling us to me as she's like sobbing and he's just like going off. I'm like, just tell me how much the casket cost. And he's going crazy. And he's telling me this story. He goes, I'm going to tell you, if you could do one thing that Hillary did right, one thing Donnie T did wrong, I'll give you the funeral for half price. He goes, guess what, kid? They paid full price. He goes, they couldn't tell me one thing that based in actual fact that Hillary did wrong, that Hillary did right.
Holy shit.
And that was like, wow, dude. And then, so
why is, I mean, I get it. Everything's politically charged, but why is it permeating down to the funeral burial discussion? I know, but it's crazy. I had enough of politics. I've had enough.
Yeah. Oh, this guy's I mean, dude, me too. And he goes, and then, so that was the night, or let's say Wednesday night. Thursday is, the wake, like, the wake open from 9 to 12, let's say, and then he was getting buried in the cemetery. So the family says goodbye, like whatever, give them a private time. Family says goodbye. Hand to gone. He goes in when they're about to close the casket and proceeds to put a Make America Great Again hat on the body.
No.
Yeah, on the body.
No.
Yeah, one of my kids' mom's sisters, like, please respectfully asking you to not put anything else on his body.
I can't, I can't even believe it.
I swear, like, I hate to be rude because I know, but it's like, I'm sitting there.
What kind of, I mean, like, dude,
I see him unlatching something on the casket and then moving this guy's head up, just moving the guy's head around to try to fit the hat on the head.
How could this person, I guess he thinks he's doing something noble. You can't touch, I mean, I guess he's the one who put him in the suit and stuff already, but like, so he's feeling like he could take some liberties there, but like, you can't, how is this guy's business? Like, you can't just touch and dress other people's deceased.
He's like a mafia guy. He's a mafia, old school Italian mobster that they don't play by the rules. They don't care. He was telling me stories about, like, he's like, you know how many times, he's like, my family's had this funeral in 50 years. He goes, you want to know how many times? I mean, he's like, how many times I go, this is like while the funeral's going on. He was like talking to me and another guy. He's like, how many times I'm sitting here, one of these guys brings in a dead body. Just killed him. I got to get rid of it. I was like, what do you mean, how many times?
Like non-funeral related.
Like one of his friends, like he was saying, like his friends, like how many times? Because he goes, they think because he's like, oh, all of a sudden I'm a mortician. Now I could freaking cut up bodies and dispose of them. He's like, people are crazy. I was like, they are.
Oh my
They're
God.
crazy.
That is wild.
Yeah, and then he was one of those guys where, like, he kept asking me if I wanted cappuccino. I kept saying no. And then he said, if I ask you for cappuccino one more time, I'm starting to get a little upset, like you don't want my cappuccino. So I was like, I'll take a cappuccino. Like, I just didn't want it. I had too much caffeine. It makes my stomach hurt. He's like, how many times are you going to say no to my cappuccino? It's like, what do I disgust you?
That's crazy, dude.
Dude, yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah, man. So I just was like, I'm like all like these, when I watch these Fear City documentaries or anything mafia related stuff, I always think about that guy where I'm like, but it's interesting because it's like, I wonder, because I knew, her dad well, of course. It's my child's grandfather. He loved Donald Trump. So it's like, maybe he was looking down from above, like, I'll put the hat on.
Yeah, I think it's like, I never really want to judge a book by its cover, but I do notice a lot of older people, more conservative. That's natural. My parents, it is an odd thing. Like a lot of people in my family, I have some liberal and some conservative in my family.
Yeah, like a normal family.
Like normal, yeah. It is. But it's getting harder to talk about. I never talked politics with my family, to be honest, and no, do I want to now.
Oh, yeah.
Not that we disagree on every last thing. It's a shame that we have to assign a bucket with politics. Like, I can't just like have some views here and some. I hate assigning, because it's now the culture we live in. You assign yourself to a bucket, and then the other bucket, literally, you get completely disregarded. Nothing you say matters. Nothing you can contribute to the conversation matters. Right. That's how everyone's going. So it's like, I'm not going to assign myself to anything. Leave me alone. I don't want to be judged by you, and I don't want to talk. I don't care what you think.
I know that may not be a big deal to you, but I wouldn't be a good friend if I didn't tell you this.
I got spinach in my teeth.
You've had it in your teeth. That's not you do have spinach in your teeth, but that's not what I'm concerned about. You have the right the sock that says R on the left foot. I can see it from under here. That says R, right? I think this is a right, so you do have the socks on the wrong foot. I don't know if you care.
No, I do care. Now it's gonna bother me.
Do you want to show your feet to the camera, or is that a hidden thing?
The R.
Yeah.
The R is here.
On the left foot.
But
so
honestly, though, I would really prefer that you told me about the spinach like a while back, and not the R and the
you
L.
have spinach. It's in a back tooth. I don't think it's concerning at all. I don't think it's going to come up on camera. It's the other side. And what side we were talking about before is, remember we were talking about, Jesus H. Christ. When people say Jesus H. Christ, where does the H come from? Holy. They say Jesus Holy Christ. Somebody deemed that H, Jesus' middle name was holy.
Oh, you found that?
I Googled it.
Oh, wow. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Never knew.
I
always wondered.
Yeah.
It's educational, the podcast, too.
And then we said, it doesn't cut the mustard. We found that that's not from the word, that's not from mustard at all. That's from doesn't cut the muster, M-U-S-T-E-R, which is a military term for, if your bed is nice and tight and your shoes are shined. Right, that's the muster.
That's the muster. And
you got your muster on tonight. You look good today. Your muster.
I want to be. I want to be an athleisure, but I also feel like I just don't want to look so raggedy. I don't know, because all I do is wear sweats. So this feels like we have a little date.
Yeah, we got a little.
Feels like I feel like I get dressed up for you a little bit.
I know. I shouldn't. I gotta start wearing pants because because my thighs are big and I'm 230 pounds and I feel bad about it.
I'm wrong. I make a pledge next eps. I will be in shorts and a t-shirt. Yeah,
I'm gonna come in jeans.
Yeah. So wait. Oh, you know what I was saying too? Like, how you didn't tell me I had spinach in my teeth?
Yeah.
This reminded me of something, and I can't throw stones, but I dated a girl one time, right? And it annoyed the hell out of me. But she would text a lot. When she texted me, she would write the word hysterical. She'd misspell it.
How would she spell it?
Hysterically. Hysterical. And I was like, ooh. Like, it just bothered me a bit. And then I was like, I'll fix this. I'll write her back. I know it wasn't hysterical, but I'll write it the correct way. And then she'll pick up on it. It'll never happen again. Lo and behold, like, fast forward like 6 months. I'm not kidding you. She said hysterical a lot. That was like one of her good go-to words. Like, people say, like, whatever, like legitimately or or literally. Right. She said it was hysterical a lot. So I was always getting bombarded with it. She didn't correct it. And every single time she said it, I doubled back every time. I'm talking dozens and dozens and dozens of times, dozens in months. And she never spelled it right back the way. And honestly, I like probably broke up. I think I ended it with her because of this.
Really? Like, seriously,
I never said anything. So that was like almost like not telling her. I couldn't bring myself to tell her though. When I was telling, it was like the spinach.
My dad still to this day.
Yeah.
If he says like, would you want to go to the Yankee game? He spells it W-O-O-D.
No.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
Would. He does. W-O-U-L-D doesn't exist. It's always would. Would you care? Would you?
Yeah, would that annoy you? If someone would you say anything? It annoyed me. Why did it annoy me? What is in my brain that I couldn't handle that after a few months?
It's okay. It's like the whole your versus your, Y-O-U-R versus Y-O-U-R-E. Not that I don't think if you're not using it properly, it makes you, this person's stupid because they didn't know it's your versus your. But the people who are very good, who never get your versus your and who know how to use it right in the context, tells me that they are a little bit above average smart and that they're a caring person.
Yeah.
So someone who's spelling hysterical wrong on purpose is like, are they not as intelligent as they thought? Or do they just not care enough to change it? And then they're also they're both problems.
Okay, so it's not on me.
I don't think so.
All right. No, because you're like, I feel the same exact thing with you. And normally you're like, I'm all over it. I'm aware when I write it, but sometimes you're just writing. But I will tell you this. I misspell something. I do a your by accident in a text, no matter who, even to you. I will follow it up with an asterisk and the correct your.
1,000%
I will follow it up every time because I don't want you to go off and start. I plant a seed in you that I'm that person that you just described.
100% me.
That's how over the top I am with it.
100% me too. Yeah. I never, ever let that go by intentionally. There's been times unintentional where I'm texting and driving. Don't do that, kids. Where you send the wrong your. I do mess up there versus there more than I'd care to share.
Yeah.
But we are in a podcast, so I will share. I mess it up a lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And how do you know? You go back and you reread. And then you see that you didn't do it justice.
If I say hey, Sal, I'm coming over. I'll be right there. Is it because it's personal? Is it THEIR? Or is it THERE because we're talking about going to a place?
No, what the hell was that? Did you? Oh, okay. Oh. Did you? No. So there is a place. There is THERE is place.
Is place.
THEIR is possessive. If you say I'm coming to their place, it's THEIR. But if you're going there, whereas there is a noun, then that's THER.
Clicked it in my head.
And then then you got you there. They are.
The apostrophe RE
it doesn't
was there.
Come into play. Yeah.
It's so easy because you just make the apostrophe an A and it's the word R.
No, but they are. But it's not their THEIR is possessive.
Yeah.
Their house. There they are is not they are. But usually contraction isn't that possessive when you do an S.
Right.
Yeah, well, this is English. It's funny because it's
the podcast goes wherever the
hey babe.
Let's go. Bleep that with the hey babe.
Exactly. Yeah. No, because I will tell you. I'm going to tell you something.
Tell me. Sal's about to sit down and tell me something.
I'm going to tell you something right now. I have a good interpersonal human being to human being IQ. An emotional IQ.
Actually, I'm going to take it even further. You have one of the best emotional IQs I've ever been around in my life. Not in my start of comedy, in my life since 1984.
That is so kind of you.
And I mean it. I genuinely mean it.
I really...
Very high personal IQ. Very, 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 very,
not
very
an IQ,
self-aware.
Not an IQ, an emotional IQ.
Emotional IQ, which is self-awareness.
Yes.
It's all very self-aware.
Yes. Well, thank you very, very much. I take that to heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm good with reading people and with, understanding how to act and like that.
Right.
I also was book smart. I did well in school. I got A's and stuff like that. And I even had a scholarship to college partial. So I'm not trying to make it like I'm dumb, but I don't know a lot about things. Like a lot. Like, contraction, English I'm pretty decent at. Math I'm pretty decent at. But when you talk about geography, history, the things that you shine.
Right.
I don't know how you remember these things. I wish I could. I haven't committed them to memory. I do look back, and I think my education system failed me.
Right.
I think they just I don't know if it was a little bit of them, like they didn't teach us great, or also like it's always just about memory. Like remember this and tell me these things and remember them, and then you go and you remember them for the test, and then they go away. They don't teach you in a way that makes you, if you're not insanely interested like you are, that makes you retain and put a practical world application on the stuff that you're studying. Right. So when it's history, they're just like, just remember this stuff and repeat it back to me.
Right.
But it's never like a discussion where you're like, oh, I see this, I see that. It's like, read this chapter in a textbook. No, what are the whatever you want to call it, the Mason-Dixon line or the I mean, anything you can think of, like just the Bill of Rights or anything like that. It's like, it's always just like remember them, say them,
and that's it.
And then that's it. And I didn't remember that stuff.
I don't like that stuff in history either as much, but I love wartime. Like when you told me, you said you got to try this peanut butter from Saratoga.
Yeah.
I said, let me tell you about Saratoga. It's a turning point in the American Revolutionary War. I said, without us winning the battle in Saratoga, then France would have never entered the war. We never won our independence. Yeah. That's just what I know about Saratoga.
I'll tell you what I know about Saratoga.
Yeah.
Horse races.
Yeah.
And peanut butter, the Saratoga. Shout out to them because they're a good company. I saw them at a street fair, a holiday street fair, Saratoga peanut butter. I love them to pieces. Again, we just do ads on the show without having ads.
We don't get paid for it.
But I have no less than 5 jars in my house at all times.
One lucky fan's going to get a jar of Saratoga peanut butter when we think of a contest for it.
Yeah.
Blizzard butter, Saratoga peanut butter?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going on their website immediately, and do you have a promo code? Can I put in Sal?
I swear to God,
20% off?
I have nothing. It was the Union Square.
$8.50 for a peanut butter?
But let me tell you something, though. This is small batch, artisanal, family made, and they're huge varieties. There's like 10 different varieties, and they're low in carbs and sugar, and they're all natural.
4
it's
grams
a healthy
of sugar,
snack.
7 grams of protein, 6 net carbs. That's nothing.
That's nothing. And that's Blizzard. That's on the high end. If you go to the other peanut butters, those numbers are dropping in half.
Really?
They're dropping in half.
Chillin' chocolate, Blizzard butter. I mean, this is right up my alley. Monkey Boy. They need to change that name. Plain Jane Creamy. Adirondack Jack, which I did see in Sal's cupboard.
Yeah, and the slow burn, I got that one. I have the Adirondack Jill. I used to have the gingerbread one because what happens is, especially if you're doing look, it's low carb, low sugar. I mean, we really just do commercials for people we are not affiliated
We're
with
not affiliated with
whatsoever.
just things that we love.
They might see this and send me a jar of peanut butter. That's $8.50. That's still not worth what I just gave them. I'm not. It's nothing against you. Now I'm turning on them.
Yeah.
How dare these people? How dare these people potentially see this and hit me up with one $8 jar of peanut butter?
Yeah. We could have potentially just gotten you 100 people to buy.
I should have.
We could have just gotten you a G.
We should have a stake in the company at this point.
100%.
If Saratoga doesn't want to cough up what they owe us, then you know what? Maybe they weren't as good as we thought.
At the very least, make us a peanut butter with our name on it.
Oh,
at the very least.
A Hey Babe flavor.
Hey Babe, peanut butter.
Maybe we can combine with them. I once did this. I almost did this with McClure's Pickles one time. No, they're out of Detroit. Me and Q at a podcast. We love the pickles. They contacted us and said they would make a small batch run with our flavor, and they never did. But it is what it is. Now Saratoga has a chance to right that wrong. Saratoga, don't be like McClure's Pickles. Also, if McClure's Pickles hears this, I'm still mentioning you. You send stuff.
Here's what I'm going to tell you right now about the Saratoga Peanut Butter Company. The same way your city was the turning point of the Revolutionary War, you could be the turning point of this podcast because we're thinking about stopping it, and it's up to you, you peanut butter.
That's you peanut
butter.
Peanut butter.
If I was on another podcast, I would have said a word.
Yeah, we're trying not to curse too much.
Hey, babe,
so we can get sponsors. Like Saratoga, goddamn.
Like Saratoga Peanut Butter Company.
No, so I went to the Union Square Holiday Market, and the guy's there, and it's the guy that makes it. Like I think.
Yeah,
he was like, and he gives us the sample. Once you get a sample.
Some of the things that we say so casually, because you said that you went to the Union Square Holiday Market, and I said, that's what Sal does, that's what I love to do. And then, but the people at home say, these are, again, two gay men that were listening to their podcast, and we support it.
Not good.
And it's just what it is. Dude, speaking of peanut butter, did I ever tell you about the food fight that I got into?
No.
Okay. Again, this happened 3 years ago.
Okay.
Real story. I go to the supermarket. I'm getting one bag of supermarket. I was told to go to the supermarket. My daughter was 2 years old to get almond milk. Okay, so I get an almond milk. I don't know why she wanted.
Shout out to Blue Diamond.
Shout out Blue Diamond. Yeah, or almond breeze. Actually, I got almond breeze. Yeah, almond milk, lemons, Cheerios, and then I had to get a carton of blueberries. Okay, so that's why I just think on the way there though to the supermarket. There's a bar that we like. And I called, bar, restaurant, and I called, and my family wanted 3 cheeseburgers. 3 cheeseburgers, American cheese, tomatoes, all that. So I get 3 cheeseburgers. Okay. Order it. The guy says 3 cheeseburgers, repeats to me twice. Okay. I go in, go to the supermarket, go to this restaurant. I said, I called in the order for Chris about 25 minutes ago, 3 cheeseburgers. He brings out the bag, goes, there you go. It's 1 cheeseburger wrapped in a bag. I ordered 3 cheeseburgers with fries and sodas and all that. He goes, you told me 1 cheeseburger.
Oh, God.
I said, I specifically called. I said, I believe I spoke to you.
Yeah.
I told you.
You know what you wanted.
3 cheeseburgers, deluxe.
You think you had a stroke at that moment and said 1 instead of 3?
That's what
you came in expecting 3. You're lying? Are you lying? Is that what he's saying?
That's what I said. I said, did I just neglect 2 members of my family, at dinner time, that specifically said, and I said, you know what, why don't you say, hey babe, you go get the cheeseburgers, I'm getting the almond milk. I ordered 3 cheeseburgers with sweet potato fries and a cheesecake. Don't tell nobody. He says, you ordered 1. That's why I repeated the order. You ordered 1. If you want 2 more, you're going to have to wait. With that, because I was so agitated, hand to God, because it was it wasn't a platter, so it wasn't in one of those like silver things. It was just a wrapped cheeseburger in paper. I take the cheeseburger out and I throw it at the guy's chest.
No! I swear! No, at his chest! Not even at the wall.
Sal.
Hand to God.
Sal, because I was so angry. He lets the cheeseburger hit off him. He gets moving back. Sal, hand to God again. With that, a waiter's coming behind him with somebody else's meal. Mozzarella sticks, French fries, drinks. He takes a handful of French fries and throws them at me.
No!
Sal, I swear. I then reach into the bag, take a handful of the blueberries that I had, and throw them at them. With that, another waiter comes in, breaks it up, says, please stop throwing food at everybody. I leave, so I'll never come back to the place again. I ordered 3 cheeseburgers. I leave, I come back. I just go back to the house. I have a half
chest.
Yeah.
A nice thud on the chest. With
nice thud on the chest.
Cheeseburger could get some weight behind it,
Yeah.
Yeah. A nice thud.
So through the blueberries, through the cheeseburger, I come back. I have half a carton of blueberries, the almond milk, and then I had some out because again, you just don't notice. I had a shirt like a little button-down shirt with a little pocket. I had a French fry, sweet potato fry in my pocket that he had thrown from the other guy's thing. Maybe it was more. No, maybe my daughter was younger because I had to run back. Might have been 4.5 years ago then.
Oh God,
Yeah.
was that? Okay, I've gotten into there's been times where I was at like a red a drive-in and then road rage and someone does something and then you roll down the window and I've gotten into like screaming matches with people,
right?
And then like in the middle of it feel how ridiculous it is, and like either one of us or both or whatever would be like just like kind of laugh or whatever. Did you get to that point at all with him, like where like we're two men throwing cheese at each other, or was it hostile?
It was so anger. It was like angry, like I had nothing to throw.
Did you laugh when you walked out? You're like, I just whipped blueberries.
It was one of those things where when the cheeseburger was probably equidistant from my hand to his chest, I was like, this is stupid, Chris. Why'd you do this? But it was already flying, like I scaled back.
And you play ball. I mean, Dude, you're a guy. You're an athletic fella.
It was like Henry Rowan Garden when he looks back at his arm and I'm like, oh no. And then I just whipped it. And then he, with that, just coincidentally threw the food that was going to table 7
I'm sweating
at
right
me.
now.
And then I kind of ducked down and then my hand, the bag was right there.
One motion.
I just threw the blueberries.
So you won that. You won. You initiated and ended it.
Yeah, and I got thrown out. And then the interesting thing, though, is that place, still to this day, where my kids, and my mom live, is on the corner. I walk past, and now with the coronavirus, open tables outside, I see this guy every day.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I wish I could hear the sound the burger against the chest made.
But
because I'm imagining it.
Yeah, but you know how infuriating that is when they tell you only ordered one?
I hate it. It's happened to me. It's happened. People, when you deliver and you call you like, you forgot and like, you never said that. I'm like, really? I didn't. I read it off. Do you know how meticulous I am?
Yeah.
It's actually a curse. I live with a curse.
Yeah.
And how much I had to dot every T and cross every I.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever, to reverse it.
Whatever, yeah.
But and then they say, it's not even like, first of all, let's say I didn't say it. Customer always right.
That's it. Yeah.
What do you get? You get to sell 2 more cheese? Like, just pleasant.
Yeah.
But like honestly, like to what end do you have to prove someone wrong anyway?
Yeah.
Just be like, oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Our bad.
I didn't hear. I'm sorry. Unfortunately, because the kitchen's a little backed up, may have to be a 15-minute wait. I apologize. Let me flip the other side. I worked at a bar restaurant for a cool decade. Okay.
And there are people that came in that I really, really, really didn't. I wished them light harm at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fall up the stairs, something like that.
Just people that don't know how to treat other people, but never like. If you went in politely and said, I think I ordered the 3, I'd be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Right.
But there's people that just don't, like, you know what I mean? Like, they just don't. I remember, this isn't one of them, but I'll never forget this one. Like, a woman wanted shrimp. And I think we had it, but the lunch special had ended. And I mean, this is exactly what happened. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not like making it like this. I'm not. This is how she said it. So I went up and I only bartended, but in the daytime, if I ever worked a day shift and cover for someone, there's not a lot of people there. So you come from behind the bar and also be the waiter.
Right.
So I went and then she said I can get scrimps. She not even shrimp. I guess she was Southern. I don't know. Like so scrimp, and not even, because shrimp and plural of shrimp is not shrimp. It's shrimp.
Shrimp. It's
fish, shrimp.
Doesn't matter how many shrimp you have. You never get an S.
But she didn't even subscribe to that because she didn't say scrimp, and scrimp is plural.
Yeah.
So she added the S and took out the H and threw in a C, and she said, "I can get scrimps."
Right.
And that's also a statement, not a question.
Right.
So I was like, fine. I know exactly what she wants, and I said, "I'm so sorry, but the shrimp was on the earlier menu. We don't have the shrimp right now." And she just got up, flipped out, and she started screaming like, "I can't believe this! You gave me the wrong menu." And I was like, "No, says lunch, and this is the right menu, but you looked at the wrong thing." And she's like, "I can't believe I can't get scrimps." And we just like, I can go back and see, but we might have run out of them because it's only offered. And she just kept screaming at, but I'll never forget it because to this day, when I'm like, it's actually like, you know how we were like, Yolanda Vega?
Yeah.
She just made that little tweak and we just say it to ourselves. Kids say it and everything. Yeah. And you know how you said to me that someone that would stub their toe and be like, Yolanda Vega?
Yeah, my friend
to this day, I loved the exchange. Like, I actually loved the woman.
Right.
You know what I mean? But but I was just like, wow, she went hot under the collar about this.
What happened?
But nothing.
Did they have the shrimps?
I don't remember. So I'm not going to say yes or no because I don't remember that. But I will never forget what she said. And to this day in my life, there's sayings that come to the forefront of my mind. Like I'll be in my house alone. Like I'll be vacuuming or in the shower and I just go, I could get scrimps. Because I just love it. It's just so fun.
I could get scrimps. A lot of people have been asking me, Chris, what's your nicotine alternative? I mean, people have been coming up to the streets say, what's your nicotine? People have been coming up to me in the streets lately out of nowhere and be like, hey, Chris, I've seen the podcast. I like the podcast. What you got going on with Sal? What's your nicotine alternative?
That's crazy. They do that in these times.
Yeah, they do that in these times. And I say, what do you mean, what's my nicotine
alternative? It's because it's so important.
Yeah, it's because it's so important. And I say, obviously, it's Lucy.co. It's the Lucy nicotine brand. Lucy.co, promo code HeyBabe at checkout. That's all you need to know.
I noticed you're saying co.
Not co. Yes.
That's important.
They left off the M for Lucy.co. Co. Promo code HeyBabe.
And they have all sorts of flavors for this chewing gum. They got wintergreen.
No, they don't.
No, they do.
What?
Why is that a big deal? I'll tell you what's not. I'll tell you what's a big deal. Pomegranate.
They don't have a pomegranate.
They have a pomegranate
flavored gum.
Artisanal nicotine alternative. You got some palm breath on you. We know you're trying to quit.
Let me ask you something. I'll be sold right now because I'm in the Christmas spirit. I'm in the holiday spirit. Do they have cinnamon?
They got cinnamon. What are you, nuts?
Cinnamon?
Of course they have cinnamon. It's Lucy.co. So our listeners can go right now to Lucy.co, put in the promo code HeyBaby. You're going to get 20% off of everything. The gum, and then the lozenges, too, because they have cherry ice lozenges.
Wow. Because I got a little bit of a tickle in my throat.
What's coming up? The new year, right?
Yes.
What are we saying? We want to quit the bad habits.
Yes.
We want to quit the vices. Lucy.co right now is not making it any easier. I mean, come on. And the product does contain nicotine derived from tobacco.
It does.
And nicotine is an addictive chemical.
It is.
But that's the point.
That's the point.
You don't want to do this. You want to do this. And then you want to stop doing that.
It's easy. Lucy.co, promo code HeyBabe. You're going to get 20% off all products, including the gum or lozenges.
Your aunt is quitting.
My Aunt Colleen is quitting because, I swear to God, because of Lucy. She's been the lady's been smoking for 40 years.
I'm finally glad that something positive is happening to Aunt Colleen. Sidebar, she's a little insufferable when she doesn't have a cigarette.
Yeah.
So now she's drinking she's eating the Lucy.co.
She's going to Lucy.co.
She's eating Lucy's.
She's eating Lucy.co. She put in the promo code HeyBabe. She doesn't know what a podcast is, but I told her put in the promo code HeyBabe. You get 20% off. And I said, but just what the money is saving, Aunt Colleen, don't go out buying cigarettes. She said she wouldn't.
She said she wouldn't. Now she has a very pleasant demeanor.
Yes.
Before she was a real pill.
Yeah, she's a real pill.
It's Lucy.co, babe.
Lucy.co, no M, promo code HeyBabe, 20% off all the products, including the gum and lozenges. You just need a nicotine alternative. That's what it is. All right, I'm doing stand-up again January 16th in the middle of a field in Pennsylvania, Royersford, Pennsylvania, heated tent. It's going to be great. One show. Go to ChristyComedy.com for tickets or SoulJoels with an S.com for tickets. SoulJoels.com. January 16th, Royersford, Pennsylvania. I'm doing an hour. It's going to be chaotic. It's going to be wild. Why not come? There's heaters there. They're going to have beers. Bring your lawn chair. It's going to be great. January 16th, doing a little stand-up. Maybe I'll FaceTime Sal. Yeah, no, I know, dude. There's things that happen with people like, working in the service industry, did I ever tell you the time?
I had a guy keel over and die at the bar while I was working. Just keel over. Paramedics came dead.
They put the sheet over the body.
Dead. Took him out. Dead.
Was he a big guy? What happened?
Older guy. We loved him to pieces. He was a neighborhood guy.
Heart attack, you think?
I guess it was that. And then he freaking died there.
Your shift?
At his seat. It wasn't my shift, but he was like one of my best friends. Like this guy, Marty, old guy Marty. Yeah. And he had his chair, end of the bar, Miller High Life. That's what he drank. He sat there, drank. He was the color of a plum the day I met him, so it was going to go south fast. Right. I think he was like 106 and bright purple the day I met him. And I thought he would be done by the end of my first shift, but like he lasted like 7 years.
How many Miller
And then I came in one day, they're like, Marty keeled over on his chair. Then we made his chair, no one could ever sit there again. And every shift, every bartender opened a Miller High Life and put it there.
Really?
Yeah.
And just kept it there the whole day?
The whole day, yeah.
How many Miller High Lifes would he drink in one day?
12.
He would
15.
Was he the guy he'd get there at noon and stay till 10 o'clock
He opened with me, but he was gone for happy hour. Once it got crowded, like during happy hour, he would leave.
He would leave.
Yeah.
So he would start drinking at noon.
But he would come in at night sometimes too. He was
could
the
be
best.
95-degree, beautiful day. He's in there drinking Miller High Life in the bar with you.
That's where he was on those days.
Yeah.
He would, but he was the best. And like one time there was a bar fight. Not that there was not many,
Right.
but maybe even an altercation, and someone pissed him off. He got up and threw a punch. He was 96. He was like in up there.
And he threw a punch.
God bless him.
God bless. God, Marty.
But we had people that would come in and berate us all the time. Not that you did that with him, but like, who knows what that guy dealt with before. Here I am. I'm always playing devil's advocate for the guy. Yeah. But no, he deserved he deserved the cheeseburger in the chest.
Did I ever tell you about the time when I was a bartender on the Russian boats?
Should we rename Did I Ever Tell You About the Time? We still don't know. No, this one doesn't ring a bell, especially Russian.
The Russian.
Oh, wait. Something about the bottles downstairs? No. Am I getting this right? You caught someone doing something on the boat?
Okay. So it's that.
Okay.
But, and I'm sure if I told you that part, I must have told you the end. But I'll say it anyway. I was bartending on my girlfriend at the time's father's boats at a Sheep's Head Bay, right across from Randazzo's Clam Bar. And one day we go on and they're like, listen, these are some Russian mobsters that are going to get on the boat, and just give them whatever they want. He's my girlfriend's father at the time wasn't getting on the boat, so I was kind of like running everything. So I'm up there at the main bar. I'm at the main bar. I'm the main bartender, me and this other guy. These Russian guys get on the bar. Like, we're like, oh, what kind of drinks do you guys like? Because, you kind of cater to the party. He goes, oh, don't worry, my guys will handle it. I'm like, oh, but no, we're the bartenders. He goes, not tonight. And I was like,
yes.
We're in the bar, though. Like, we're behind. What do you want us to do? And he goes, you're going to go downstairs. He goes, I made a little mini bar, like, for the kids, for Shirley Temple and stuff like that. You do that bar. This is just a guy who, like, runs he paid to come on the boat. He's telling me what to do.
That's crazy.
On the boat. He goes, we set up a little bar with like sodas.
I got
You're just going to pour drinks and Shirley Temples for the Russian children.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. What am I going to do? Argue with this guy?
Right.
So with that, I'm just down there. I'm like, there's no service on the boat. I'm in the middle of the water. I'm like, I guess I just got to fucking do this. It was also my job to count everybody who comes on. There's like 295 people that come on. So everybody comes on. So I count whatever, 295. You have to know. 2 hours into the boat trip, whatever. I go in a back room. I go in a back room to get a crate of something. There's a girl on her knees, guy pants around the ankles. She's giving him
hey, babe.
He, with the door open like that, opens up into the party. He doesn't say, oh my God, what's going on? He goes, what do you need? As she's still just blowing him, he goes, what do you need? What do you need? And I was like,
sounds like a Scorsese movie.
Yeah, I was like, I need to get a crate or whatever. He goes, go, do it. I was like,
no.
Should I come back? I didn't know what I was 22 years old. He goes, go, do it. Okay, fine. So I go, do it, whatever. I'm like, this is the craziest night of all time.
Yeah.
Then there's a fight. There's like a huge fight on the boat. So, it's a problem when there's a huge fight on the boat. Obviously, we had one security guard. It's Russian gangsters, whatever. Oof. The Coast Guard comes on the side of the boat. We had to hit, the first man had to hit like a Mayday thing. They come on, break it up. Everything's fine, whatever. We get back into Sheep's Head Bay thing. It's 2 o'clock in the morning now. Have to count everyone out. 294. So.
Oh, you told me this. Yes.
294.
Holy sh!
Hey, babe. I say we got a problem.
Holy hey, babe.
Yeah, holy hey, babe. I say we got a problem. It's 294. I didn't miscount. It's 294. And, I'm like, what's going on? Whatever. Call the guy who was in charge of everything. He's like, I don't know, but it's Russian gangster, so I don't want to get involved. I'm like, so I'm 22 years old. I'm supposed to just leave. There could be a murder. Could have happened. It could be a dead Russian in the water.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. So I'm like, okay, I can't sleep that night, whatever. A week later, I get a call from a detective in the NYPD. Were you the bartender on this boat? I said, yeah. He goes, well, somebody's missing. Do you have any information? I said exactly what I did. 294, 295. There was a fight, blah, blah, blah. Never heard anything about it again. Never heard anything about it in the paper. Don't know what happened.
Wow.
Somebody didn't make it off that boat, though.
Somebody went OB.
Yeah. Yeah, that story, and then the second sickest story I have about bartending on those boats is we used to do. Did I ever tell you the story about the wedding, the dry docked wedding?
You got to continue, and I'll let you know.
So real quick, so a lot of times people would get married on the boat. They would get married on the top level of the boat because then the boat, the ceremony is on land, so there's not any problems. Then, the ceremony, the reception is you go around Statue of Liberty, blah, 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 blah. Wedding starts 12 o'clock. So we get there 10 o'clock, setting up the boat, blah, 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 blah. The groom's there. Everyone's happy. Always waiting for the bride. You wait for the bride because, the bride makes the entrance. That's any wedding.
Sure.
So, same thing. You see the limo come down, beautiful, blah, blah, blah. It's 12 o'clock. So whatever. Now it's 11:55. Bride's not there. No big deal. So it happens. 12:15. Bride's not there yet. Captain of the boat's like, listen, can we just check in with her? Because obviously, of course, she wants to make an entrance. It's a little late. But, by 1:30, we really need to get out there. There's, dock space. There's a whole business. Gas. We're kind of sitting idle. No problem.
I think I was telling her.
So 12:15 comes, no bride. 12:30, no bride. 12:45, we see the bride coming.
Okay.
We see the limo coming. We see the white limo coming. So thank God she's there. He's saying, I'm going to marry. This is going to be my life. I'm marrying a woman. She's always late. I mean, late for her own wedding. She'll be late for her own funeral. Like, those kinds of old school Ginzo jokes.
Sure.
Bride's mom gets out. Bride's mother gets out, which is like, okay, great. It's going to keep the door open, for the long, beautiful dress. Bride's mom gets out, shuts the door. So we're like, it's not the bride. That's the bride's mom. Bride's mom's walking down. I mean, the whole boat is looking. She's walking down like a long thing. It's like the gangway is like going like this. She's like an older woman. Bride's mom comes up, tells the, first maid or like whoever was the maitre d', I guess you say, bride got cold feet. She's not coming. She doesn't want to get married. So the first mate, maitre d' guy.
The first maitre d'.
First maitre d' gets on the microphone and says, I'm sorry, she's not coming. He's like, so, we're figuring out what to do. We have a plan for this. Don't worry. I'm so sorry. Please talk amongst yourselves. With that, for whatever reason, the husband or groom gets the mic from him and says, look, we all paid for this wedding. This wedding's paid for. The captain, the guy who owned the boat company, was willing to give him half the money back, which is pretty good. At least you'll get half the money back. He doesn't have to give him any money back. You sign all these contracts no matter what.
Sure.
He says, I feel terrible. Half the money back. Goes, no, keep the money. We're having a party. It's supposed to be the best day of my life. It's going to be the best day of my life, and I'm not going to do anything else. We're going to have this party. We're going to rage on. We're like, okay, I mean, as long as it's okay with you. Because now it's just a party on the boat.
Right.
Most of the wedding party, the groom's wedding party stays. So most of the bridesmaids, never even the bridesmaids knew. Nobody knew that she was going to do this. They get off. A few get on. A few stay on. A few get off. We take off. This guy is pounding liquor.
Oh my God.
Pounding liquor.
Oh my God.
We're about an hour and a half. He's dancing. He's like, this is the best night of my life. Things like that. Pounding liquor. At one point, I saw him trying to make out with a female guest. She's like, stop, you're drunk, whatever. Start going crazy. We're going. It was never forget. It's 6:30. We always do a lap. You do a lap around the Statue of Liberty. It's 6:30 in the summer, so it's beautiful. Yeah. Lights are on. He's standing on a couch, on the boat, standing on a couch, saying, this is the best day of my life. I'm so sorry whatever. We made it work. Vanessa, you're missing the best night of your life. I love you, but I understand what you did. And he starts yelling. He goes like, I understand what you did, and I know that it was probably wrong, and I'm sorry for all the mistakes I made. And starts crying, jumps off the boat.
Oh my gosh!
Jumps off the boat. I swear to God, jumps off the boat in front of us all.
Holy
hey babe.
Holy
hey babe.
Holy
hey babe.
Jumps off.
Let me tell you something. That is not the first time you saw someone try to jump to them. There's another story. Let's tell that. But no, wait, hold on. Do you think that he was like, as soon as he heard she wasn't coming, he's like, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna jump off. Yeah. And so it was an affront to get everybody on to do that, to maybe either deal with the grief or to stick it to her that she caused that, or do you think he just in that moment got caught up and did it in that moment?
Well,
I'm hyperventilating.
The good news is not the good news. Just so everyone's edge of seat, he survived. Again, Coach got it to come. He survived. He could swim. We got him out.
I have an adrenaline headache right now,
dude.
Hey babe.
On the trip back, we were asking the same questions to his friends, and most of his friends were like, I don't know, this isn't like him, whatever. Then we're talking, some guest at the wedding who wasn't a groomsman but knew them. He goes, I think it was my fault. This guy, and I was listening. I wasn't talking directly to me, but in earshot. And one of the groomsmen was like, what do you mean? How could it be your fault, Phil? He's like, well, you know how he doesn't really drink that much, you know, but he was drinking. It's his, you know, wedding night. He just got left on his wedding night. He said, but then I gave him a little Coke.
Oh my God.
So he does the first line of Coke he's ever done in his life on the night his wife doesn't show up for his own wedding and jumps off the boat in front of the Statue of Liberty.
He could have died.
Could have died? Oh, easily could have died.
Hey, babe.
Easily could.
I think it was Ted, the movie Ted or Ted 2 or Ted or whatever. And they're like at a function, and he goes, "I'll give him one guest to tell me which guest did coke." And they scan the crowd, and everyone just sitting talking. And then one guy just punches another guy in the face and jumps out a window.
Ted is a
Holy
great movie.
Hey, babe.
No,
oh my God, dude, that is crazy.
And yeah, my third jump story we'll save for another podcast.
That is.
Yeah.
I mean,
I do that bit on stage.
You crippled me with that.
Yeah. The one
you crippled me.
The one. Well, yeah. When with my girlfriend. Yeah.
That is. Yeah, that's crazy.
I'll tell that story. Yeah, but no, dude, it's one of those things where working in the service industry. It's just so you deal with all types of people.
I bartended weddings at this place on Staten Island called the Excelsior Grand. It's
Highland Boulevard.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's actually where I had my my senior prom too. It's been around forever. Before
it's
that,
been on my Super Sweet 16 too. That
has it
TV
really?
Show. Yeah, big time.
So it used to be at a place. It used to be the place itself used to be called the Shalimar. It was of Staten Island legend when we were younger. Like that was like the place. Like it just like spiral staircase inside. Things were velvet.
Right.
Like it was just like a big hall. And it had a big glass window in the front. And when you pass it as a kid, you always like, what is this? Like this big hall. Like you don't really understand. And they had a little person they used to employ, and he would be he was the greeter in the circular driveway, and he would be in a tuxedo with tails and like a top hat.
Yeah.
And he would always be out there, and we would pass and like be like, oh look, like the little guy in the tux, like so it felt magical to us.
Right.
As a matter of fact, a bunch of my friends always thought Wu-Tang shouted it out in a song when he says blowing up like Shalimar in 81.
That have to be it.
No, well, we thought it was, and we were like, "Oh my God!" Because someone set the Shalimar, I think, on fire. He caught fire, or they tried to blow it up for insurance money. So we thought that's what the Wu-Tang reference. But I looked it up one day because I was like, I gotta know, and it actually is a reference to Soul Shalimar, the group Shalimar, who was having like tons of hits that year. A Night to Remember, like they're an amazing band too.
But Wu-Tang is so smart and the lyricists are so, well informed that it may have a double meaning.
Maybe it does.
Yeah.
Maybe it does.
Yeah.
So anyway, but so I worked there. So I was doing weddings every single weekend. It's when I first got my my first bartending gig, and I did every single culture's wedding.
Right.
Italian culture, Greek, Jewish, Slavic, Russian, everything. And they all have their own, but like the Slavic, like the Russian weddings and like the Jewish weddings, they would be like 600 people, like 600 minimum.
Right.
Minimum.
That's a small one.
When they have a wedding, they would, like the place was so huge, and they had like the moving walls where you could like tailor it to the size that you need.
Right.
Every wall from block to block was open, and they would have like 600, 800 person weddings. It was wild. And the Russian guys, man, the Italian guys were like that. Like, come here, do me a favor. And they would give you they'd try to give you money and everything on the side. And, but the Russian guys, some of those guys, I remember I did a wedding one time, or maybe it wasn't Russian, but they had a band. This is two things. The band would play music the entire time, like 5 hours straight, with hardly stopping. And it was like, they would do these songs, some of them that were like very redundant.
Right.
So it would be like the same chant or the same like riff over and over and over, sometimes for like 40 minutes. And everyone would do this dance together, and it would just be like a two-step where they danced, and the whole place was doing it, almost like a high school 80s movie.
Right.
And and the way that they would pay the band, I don't know if it was a tip. I heard that they don't even pay the band. The band comes as part of the culture, like the neighborhood. Like they come, that's their job to like pay respect to the people that they know. And the band comes, and the people dancing throughout the whole night, singles in their pocket. During the songs, they just take it and they chuck it in the air and chuck it in the air and chuck it in the air. And it's 600 people throwing like 100 singles each for like a 5 hour party, to the point where it was dangerous for us as servers because there was just, you couldn't see the floor. It was just singles. And then every like hour, we would have to go with a broom and a garbage bag and just pick up thousands and thousands of
and give it to the band
and just give it over to the band. So that was unique, right? But
that's sick.
But one time this guy came in and he was like, so they would always say like and I don't want to hear, don't send letters to our PO box. We don't have an address, and I don't think anyone's handwriting a letter. But what I mean is, don't take offense. But I'm not saying all Russian people, but in my experience at this wedding, they would like if you were a worker, they treated you like you were their hired like butler, and they would talk to you like they'd be like, my friend.
Yeah. And
then you walk over, and it was like all couples, and they'd be like, more of everything for everyone here. Like they'd say stuff like that. Like I'd be like, well, there's a menu, and they'd be like, bring us what you have.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, well, it's course out, and he's like, come here, bring us the food you have now. And I'd be like, I just walk in the back, I'd be like, look, like they're demanding everything now. And then I just bring it out. But then like if their girlfriend like or something like they just beckon you. Right. They go, oh, friend. Yeah. And then you'd walk over, and he'd be like, more. So they wanted buckets of beers on the table.
Okay.
So buckets of beers and ice, which is not how you really do it at a wedding.
No.
Not at a really formal event.
No. Yeah, we're not in the parking lot of the Jets game.
They drink. And then they started going, we want bottles on the table.
Right.
Which is, I think, customary for Russians.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, it is. But when you're in a place that is like doesn't always do that, or they didn't ask for it first and then they decided they want it. So they're like, bring 2 bottles of vodka and bring more buckets of beer, more. And they would, so what we did then was we served nips.
Okay.
So if they wanted the actual beer, we normally had to pour a beer, but they had them in the nips. So the nips is like an 8-ounce or a little 6-ounce beer. So they would pound them.
Right.
So like by the time I brought a bucket, we're talking 800 people. So they would assign like, I think it was a bartender to every 100 people. Whatever it was, which is, or maybe even more than that, 150. So we had our work cut out for us. Lot, and the place, they told us, if someone has to come to your station for a drink, you're not doing your job. So you need to get the drinks to the tables. And by the time they want another one, if they're getting up to you, you're not going fast enough. So it was unreasonable to ask of the workers at 150 people, like 10 tables, 6 tables each. But that made me hustle. Like that really taught me how to bartend a lot. So I would run and do and run. By the time I had dropped off 8 nips at a table of 8, whatever it is, they would be done. So everyone was just yelling at me from every table, my friend, more beer for everyone. And they'd just be like that. And I'd be like, yeah, okay. And then I'd come and they'd be like, they'd like take it upon me. Yeah. Like they'd be like, what about my wife? And I'd be like, well, what do you want? And she'd be like, what do you want? And then he'd tell her and he'd be like, go get the martini. And I'd be like, okay, go get it.
Go get it.
I'd be like, I thought you wanted the beer. I didn't know it.
No, thank you.
Go get it. So I'm like, whatever. It's my job to be. I'll just listen. It's not like I take it in stride. Right. So I'm bringing everything over. This happened a lot. Yeah. And then one time I learned my lesson. So one time I'm like, I'm gonna be proactive. I turned to the woman and I go, "Is there anything I can get you?" And she was like, and I was like, "Okay, is there anything I can get you?" And she's like, "No." And I was like, "Okay." And I went to the next one. I go, "Can I get you anything?" And then the guy taps me on the shoulder. I go, he goes, "Come here." He takes me in the corner. He goes, do not talk to the women. And I was like, oh, I was just asking them because you know how you said before, like, what about my wife? So I was like, he goes, no, you don't talk to the women. And I was like, well, how do I know what they want? He goes, do not. And I go, okay. Yeah. So then I never spoke to another woman. Now, hold on. Now the bride comes out, right? And the bride and the groom are at the dais alone. This guy is standing on his seat at the dais, and he has 4 Coronas in his hand. 2 in each. He's drinking them. He's going like this. Yeah. He's got 4 Coronas. He's standing on his seat. People are whipping singles at him. Right. His bride, again, I don't know if this is the culture, not this, their relationship, not, I don't know what it is. This is how it was. She was sitting, no drink, head down. Now, not head down like this, but just like just sitting calmly. Like maybe she was having a Zen moment. Maybe that wasn't her style. Maybe he was getting out of control. Maybe she was embarrassed. But it just seemed like she was way more like, let me just sit here because this is how I do it. Yeah. And this is how he does it. Right. But the bride And we're taught like there's the suite where you go like the suite up before you start there. All the people, the important people go in it.
Like the bridal suite.
The bridal suite.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before everyone comes, the bridal suite gets there first, and we're serving them food and drinks. The same thing. They're like, you don't make anyone ask anything in the bridal suite. Yeah. He goes, drop everything for the bride and groom. The door should be open.
Yeah.
Drop everything for the bride and groom, especially the bride. So this guy has 4 beers in his hand. He's standing on the chair and he's doing the Macarena, whatever he's doing. And so I leaned in and I said, "Excuse me, miss, like, is there anything I could do for you at all?" 10 guys swarmed me, grabbed me, and dragged me to the side.
Dragged you? At work?
Not like you're going to throw me out by the suit, but like, I mean, I was in the middle of speaking, and they came over. They all would go, come on, hold my arms, and guided me away and brought me over there. We said, "We told you, you don't ever talk to the bride." And I was like, "I'm really sorry." I was like, I don't mean to do anything, but like, I didn't mean anything by it, but like, my job is, you guys paid for service, and I'm just making sure that the bride and they were like, no, and then they were like, don't ever come up to them again for the rest of the wedding.
Who your boss told you that?
No, the Russian guys or the people. They told me. Don't ever go back to
I've never heard that. It feels like
you
did a wedding for ISIS.
I swear to God, dude, I was just like, wow. This is going back to how we said when the guy was like, you didn't order 3. I just thought of customer service, and I thought of the flip side of that. And here I am working, and these are the people that hired us. But like, how do you respond to something like that?
No, dude, I'm telling you,
it was wild, dude.
Did I ever tell you about the time when I first started comedy with when I did the back-to-back gigs in one night for the Italian Mafia, the next night for the backyard barbecue party? So real quick, I was doing a gig. I started comedy 2009. I do this gig. I started comedy October 2009. This is maybe January 2010, maybe February 2010. So I'm 3-4 months in. You know, comedy's horrible. Angel Salazar, the comedian Angel Salazar from Scarface, sees me at Caroline's. He's like, "I got a gig for you. So we're gonna go. It's kind of Mafia guys. We're gonna do it." Yeah. I said, "Okay." Yeah. So we go do the gig. I suck. I open up for him. I do some joke that offends some Mafia guy's wife. I had no idea that I even offended his wife. I get off stage. I could see, you could hear like a pin drop. I was bombing. I get off stage. Somebody grabs me. One of these like big Mafia henchmen grabs me, puts a knife to my throat, like a full knife to my throat, and says, I quote, "I'm going to cut your Adam's apple out and feed it to your mother." So I was like, okay. So he says he's going to cut my Adam's apple, feed it to my mother. With that, the owner of the place, I think the place was called Scungili's or something like that on Lefferts Boulevard in Queens. It's definitely shut down now.
Shout out to Lefferts Boulevard, Queens.
Shout out Lefferts. So
yes, I remember
this. Friday night.
This is wild. So what are you thinking in that moment?
When I was thinking at that moment, I was like, I'm going to die to be an open mic comedian. I'm going to lose my life.
Did you possibly think you could, right?
Because
if someone's going to do that to you, and you're not really used to that kind of experience to be treated like your body, like you don't know if it's real, if it's not, if it's a threat. You hear about these senseless acts of violence all the time. And
so so the owner of the bar, both guys' names were Carmine. The guy who held his knife to my throat was Carmine, and the guy who owned it was named Carmine, because Carmine, the owner, says to Carmine, the other guy's like, "Carmine, put the knife down, walk away." So Carmine, the owner, grabs me and he takes me down he takes me to what I think is his office, and then moves a bookshelf, and there's a door behind the bookshelf that exits out onto the street. So I was like, okay. So I don't know what's going to happen. He's like, "Look, don't tell anybody about this. That guy's a wannabe. He causes problems here." He goes, "What were you supposed to get paid?" I said, "Angel was going to give me $25. He gives me $2,000 in cash that he pulled out of his back pocket. He goes, "Take this. Just don't tell nobody what happened here."
Sure, because that's someone threatened to murder you. That person would go to jail.
And his whole establishment would get shut down. He's probably selling drugs out of the back of it.
Right.
So that would...
$2,000 cash.
Cash.
What are you thinking in that moment?
In that moment, I'm saying...
Should you take it? Should you not?
I'm saying at that moment, this is dirty money. I shouldn't spend it. Fast forward.
Shouldn't spend it.
Fast forward next week.
But took it.
But I took it.
Yeah.
Fast forward next week. Yeah, I had about 10 new pairs of Jordans. I went
1 week
absolutely
later.
wild. yeah. I was buying
that was some guy in a ditch for that money.
So that's Friday night. You would think like some people like, "Oh, get a knife to my throat." It's like your life will never be threatened again in comedy. It just happened, whatever. I have a show the very next day at an outdoor barbecue. The outdoor barbecue shows are brutal. This is on Northern Boulevard in Queens. I'm doing a joke. There's a guy. Again, I suck at comedy. I still do, but this time I really suck. I'm doing a joke. This guy's got tattoos all over his head and his face. I don't know anything. I'm new. I make a joke to the guy with the tattoos on his face, like, "Oh, what are you, a kindergarten teacher?" Something stupid. With that, he starts breathing hard, starts punching himself in the face, in the chest.
So
yeah.
Like, what is going on?
What is going on?
He's punching himself
in the face. There was children.
He's already got face tattoos. He's made plenty of decisions in his life that weren't the right decision.
He starts beating the crap out of himself.
Because
he's so enraged.
He's so enraged.
He can't believe that somebody called out on him. So enraged. So his friends.
Yeah. Go ahead, continue. But I just run off the stage.
No, that's what I'm saying. His friends, they all look like gangbangers. His friends are gangbangers. Start backing away from him as if to say, "Look, the other guys are real hardened criminal guys. Even they're like, I don't want when Caesar gets like this, you got to step away." Yeah. So he starts punching himself in the face. I put the mic. I was in the middle of a joke. It's like that's. It's a.
You this is like your 10th spot ever.
Yeah, it's a backyard barbecue. I put the mic back in the stand. Walk off stage left. Climb over the fence. Exit through the neighbor's backyard.
Because you're coming off the heels of the knife in the throat.
I'm like, what am I doing?
It's a wonder that we know each other and you're here today.
Yeah,
that you continued in comedy.
Continue to do it. My friend Joey G had put the gig together. He got me.
Joey G of Joey G. Joey G. From the weddings, from the guy that tapes all the weddings?
No.
He's famous here. Okay.
Oh, no, Joey G's a comedian guy. I think he quit too, Joey G. But anyway, yeah, so I climb over in front of everyone. Like, I put the mic in the stand.
Yeah.
They said, "Give it up for Chris." Instead of walking out past it, I just, as if it was the way out.
You will not
climb.
go. You wouldn't even think of even going anywhere near him.
I scaled a fence and jumped out through a neighbor. The neighbor could have had a pit bull. I didn't care in that moment. I was like, I got to get away from this guy. With that, so I leave. I'm like, that was the craziest thing. Back-to-back nights. I'm doing stand-up. I couldn't believe Friday night I almost died. Saturday I almost died. I get a call Sunday afternoon from another NYPD detective. He says, "Were you the comedian on stage last night around 6 o'clock?" And I said, "Yes, I was. You know, I climbed out. I don't know if I broke some personal property." I explained the whole story. He goes, "It's not about that." He goes, "About 45 minutes after you left, the man you made a joke on went and murdered someone in broad daylight on the street, a random guy crossing the street. He murdered him. So people were saying that he was pissed off because of a joke you made. So part of our investigation, we want to know what the joke was."
Holy.
Hey, babe. Hey, babe. Hey, babe. And
holy. Hey, babe.
Holy. Hey, babe. So somebody went and murdered a random stranger because I pissed them off in a comedy show. And I said, "Am I going to have to testify? Like, I don't want to be a part of this." They said, no. They said, "We just want to know." So, we're tracking things down. Basically, then I got a call maybe 3 months later when they were tying up this thing. A guy had already went back to jail. They said, "Yeah, what happened was, there was no trial. He just pled guilty. He had just gotten out of prison a week before and was not adjusting to the freedom of the new world because he had done like 20 years. He wanted a reason to go back to prison, and you gave him that reason."
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Holy. Hey, babe.
All my dates, ChrisDComedy.com. Outdoor shows, socially distanced.
That is wild.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
Look, I don't care if I'm Kimbo Slice.
Yeah.
If I'm Bruce Lee. If I'm talking to somebody who starts hitting himself first.
Yeah.
I'm not going to engage. I'm going to hop the back fence too.
Yeah.
That death's not on you.
As casually as I'll walk down your
stairs
right now.
Did you ever feel that death was on you? Because you shouldn't.
No, I feel terrible about it, but it was like, yeah, I never felt that. I just kind of felt like I can't believe I even did comedy. I did comedy Monday at the Creek.
Could you imagine though?
Yeah.
The guy who died's family, and the police were like, a couple of minutes prior, a comedian asked him, "What are you, a kindergarten teacher with those face tattoos?"
Yeah.
And we're sorry to say that's what drove him.
Yeah.
to take your whoever this was out of your family.
And we're sorry.
And to this day, those people want to know who told that joke.
Who was it?
I mean, if they're watching now, do you want to say something to them?
If you guys are watching now, I really apologize. My comedy has gotten better since then. And I think it'd be safe for you and your family.
You can't blame him. You can't blame him.
I can all but
I'm not even making a light of this. I mean, this is tragic.
If you're watching right now.
But we can laugh about it now?
We can laugh about it now, but I can guarantee you, I'm looking in the camera, whoever you are, I can guarantee you that if you come to one of my comedy shows, I am going to give you as close to 100% as I can that no one will see my comedy and then proceed to immediately murder an innocent stranger. I'm confident that my jokes will not allow someone to do that.
I thought you were going to say, I'm going to give you as much as I can, 100% off the bill.
Listen, or if you buy 2 drinks, I got the tip. I got the chicken fingers if you buy 2.
Dude, how did you stick with comedy?
I'm insane.
That is nutso.
That's what it is, baby.
That's nuts.
Nutso. And then, yeah, speaking of nutso, Saratoga Springs peanut butter.
Bring it back to the beginning.
Bring it back.
If you're watching this, we want to be, what do we want, 5-10%?
5-10%, or we'd like a Hey Babe peanut butter named after us.
That would be wonderful. Why don't we do that?
Let's do that. Let's ask them.
I'm gonna reach out to them.
Let's reach out.
So I got to reach out to a few people.
We'll reach out to them, Yolanda Vega, and Lori from Shark Tank.
Yeah.
Have a good day, everybody. Hey, babe. Hey, babe. Hey, babe.